back in the building. You now tune into the recap with the GoodFellaz show. You know how we do every week around this time, man. Everything that needs to be talked about, everything going on in the world, the GoodFellaz have an opinion about it. But before we go any further, it's your boy, Tommy Guns, alongside my man, Shy Montana. What up?
It's the rock star, Shy Hendrix Montana, in the motherfucking building.
All right. Dav Noble holding it down.
Hey, drink your water. This heat wave is coming. For real, for real.
Heritage Hip Hop's own Karev Yah, always bringing that perspective.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Also leave a comment because the podcast is dope, not only because we're here, but because you're here too.
And of course, special shout out to my man Sajin, aka Mayhem Media, behind the boards, super producer doing his thing. Salute to him. And special shout out to my man Big A. He will be in the building a little bit later. You already know how that goes. So, with that being said, with all that out the way, it's the recap show. So much been going down. We're gonna start. Let's start with just something that's in the news right now. Wherever you go in the media, you can't help but hear about it. We're gonna talk about your boy Bill Cosby. Yo, Bill Cosby just got released the other day. After 3 years in prison, they overturned his case for drugging and assault, allegedly, due to the fact that it violated his constitutional rights. We'll get into all that in a minute, but first things first, when we all heard the news, because by now everybody tuned in right now, I know we've all heard the news. When we first heard the news, whether it was social media, TV, radio, word of mouth, however, were any of us even surprised?
I was.
Yeah?
Because it was off my radar, man. To be honest, I didn't even know that they were still like fighting. Like, I didn't know what was going on with that case. But after reading about it, and it is kind of messed up, like how it happened that he wound up in prison. Yeah, it was some shady stuff. So I mean, legally, yeah, I was surprised. I said, wait, how did he get out? And I think that was my first question, like how? You know what I mean? Like, how do you get convicted on that and then be out, you know what I'm saying, in 3 years? But I could say, I understand.
Word. We're used to, at least me, like I'm used to, especially when it's somebody of color, once they get locked up, they don't get out.
Word.
So when I heard this, I was like, wait, hold up. They let him out? Because it seemed to me at one point that once society has deemed you guilty, you usually don't get out. And when I heard that they actually let him, first things first, I was like, it's about time, because my thoughts are like this. When you're rich, you're supposed to have access to better legal representation than most. So I was quite surprised. I mean, just from what, I'm no expert on the case, but based on the evidence or lack thereof that I heard, I was like, wait, this case is kind of weak. So I was actually, originally when they were, he was on trial, I was kind of thinking that his legal defense was slipping. I'm like, how you let my man Bill Cosby get locked off for some bullshit? So I guess it's good to see that all that money is finally paying off, because, he would have, for all that money, he should have had the ghost of Johnny Cochran, Kim Kardashian's pops, like, the ultimate dream team should have been doing their thing. And, I thought he got caught slipping. I don't know. Me personally, we'll get into more details, but that case is kind of weak.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it was always a tough case for me, man, because I see in school, or back in college, man, you go to parties and there be liquor out and dudes be like, yo, everybody, get the girl a drink. Let me buy you a drink. Yeah. Like this, and that even spread out to, you go to, I know some people go to parties. I don't go to these kind of parties, but parties where like, there's drugs around, cocaine, pills, whatever. Take this. Oh, like have one of these. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there is that line, but it's always a weird line when it comes to like, yo, let me buy you a drink, and the girl's saying, I'll take the drink. Not saying dude drugging her because it's different, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people in this, when they go back and forth in these parties, man, sometimes there's these drugs going around, and you know, guys be like, hey, you want this? You want some of this? I get you some of this, and you know, females take these things, and sometimes it was always a weird situation, man. And these kind of cases when a bunch come out these days, it's unfortunate that there's so many like gold diggers, you know what I mean, and people so quick to jump on the money bandwagon or the you know, the multiple lawsuit bandwagon, because the more people you get attached to a lawsuit, the more it seems legitimate in the court of public opinion, even though it could be completely like nonsense. So I feel like for Cosby, man, he shouldn't have been in jail for that. But I feel like if he did, you know, knowingly like, slip stuff in people's drinks without them knowing or them asking or them like having any idea whatsoever, and then like, like he should have been in jail for that. But that wasn't proven. You know, he did admit to saying he gave women quaaludes, you know what I'm saying? Consensually, you know what I mean? And he did it, you know, for the purpose and intention that maybe they would have sex and the thing. So it's like, that was always hard for me, especially, you know how it is, man. You know how industry parties are, bro. So it's like, hey, for whoever it is, Bill Cosby is free, and no one ever convicted him of anything. So
the thing is, we're not saying that, first of all, nobody really knows what went down 20, 30 years ago. Let's get that out the way. Exactly. So in no way are we condoning what may or may not have happened. But we're saying this, similar to anything else, anybody else, you have to have evidence, and it has to be proven in a court of law. And for the record, because 20 people said, he did it, that's not evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I feel like we were in a dangerous kind of space where if enough people were like, word, he did it, and they came up with any type of bullshit story, it was like mob justice or mob evidence as opposed to, you know, like facts.
And like, don't get us wrong, if Bill Cosby got convicted, I'm all for, you know what I'm saying, him and his pudding pops under the jail. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about that. I just don't like court of public opinion. You know, being the deciding factor of certain things. Like, I've never been. You know.
There's this thing called evidence that still applies. Sean Montana, were you surprised when you heard that Bill Cosby got out of prison?
Hell yeah. You know, the law doesn't always come through for a man of color. Even though they're the ones that put him in there on some dumb shit.
Yeah. Very rarely, like I said, you hear stories all the time of, you know, political figures or somebody getting out, but very rarely do they let people of color out of jail.
Hell yeah.
So you've given your opinion on that. Now, what do you think that Bill Cosby should have been locked up in the first place?
I don't think so. I think it's too much he say, she say. You should never be locked up on he say, she say.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a rich man and a lot of poor she's saying stuff. You know what I mean?
Nah, facts, man.
It gets murky, man. That legal stuff, because sometimes it's like, it's he said, she said, because sometimes things do happen behind closed doors, and it sucks because this stuff does happen. You know what I mean? Like, it is happening, and it does happen.
Yeah.
There's stories of it happening. It's just, I think people got to stop automatically just jumping to conclusions and making it something that's factual before any facts come out. You know what I mean? Or even like, oh, this is a fact, and y'all like based off of, I watched like 5 minutes of the trial. I watched like 2 or 3 articles. It's like, I think that's just the problem with culture in general, man. Everybody's so quick to judge somebody else, but at the same time don't want to be judged for nothing. It's absolutely astounding.
Yeah. Especially when it aligns with their own personal beliefs. And we're talking about a man's life and freedom. And, he arguably could have been in jail for the rest of his life. If we're going to do that, I need some evidence. I need some toxicology reports. I need some wiretaps, because Cardi B out here talking about, yeah, man, we drug them and rob them all the time in a song. And y'all let that fly. But Bill Cosby, he was America's dad for a long time before he became Senor Quaalude. So, like I said, man, you just can't go off of what's popping for the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Senor Quaalude.
Yo, Karev, Heritage Hip Hop. Were you surprised when you heard that Bill Cosby got out of prison? And do you think he should have been sent to prison in the first place based off the evidence of what they had at the trial?
Was I surprised? Yes and no. Do I think he should have been convicted? No. And not because I don't think he didn't do anything. A lot of people got caught in lies during the trial.
Yeah.
So that right there makes the trial pretty fugazi for everybody who likes Donnie Brasco. I think it was a little weird to like Janice Dickinson was caught in a lie about the trial from the beginning and said she got raped by Bill Cosby too. And they was like, that ugly bitch, like, you're kidding me. You know what I'm saying? And they really caught her out there, We got to understand that back when this stuff was happening, Hollywood was even more drug infested than it is today.
Yeah.
Because remember, what was it? James Belushi died of what was speedballing? Yeah, a lot of people getting high at parties and things like that. And and I'm not gonna lie, we're talking about the 70s and 80s. That's disco club era culture where people were getting high. Look at 52, where people were dancing and dying because of overdoses in the club. You know what I'm saying? Does it make it right? Here's the thing that bothers me. The woman who supposedly got him convicted, she says she knowingly took things, but he lied. When you knowingly take something, even if it's a pretense of something, you were given the choice, you can't blame a person for that. And if you're unconscious and you're being sexed on, that is still a sexual assault. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With people saying they knew Cosby did this, the only thing that came to mind when Bill Cosby got out is like, damn, I wonder who R. Kelly gonna call for his defense now. Come on! You know what I'm saying? Realistically speaking, because now they're backtracking. This is the same thing that the woman who was allegedly helped Jeffrey Epstein, this is the same thing she could use in her trial. So I think it's bigger than Bill Cosby for me, personally. We could talk all the race stuff. We could talk all the men of color. We could talk all that stuff. I think the ramifications of this trial is going to be very interesting, because this is the type of stuff even Derek Chauvin is trying to use about going back and using things that people deem was immiscible or not done right in their trial. I think we're going to see a lot. I think we're going to see a big change in the court system, how not only people look at cases or prosecute cases, it's going to be what happens after. Because now, if they can go back and change things, I'm very interested in how they're going to do the Ahmaud Arbery case. I'm really interested in how the court system is going to be not only perceived in the public, because public opinion doesn't mean shit when it comes to money, as you said, but I'm really interested in seeing if public crucifixion is going to continue to be just as big as the UFC, or are we going to really die down and watch for facts?
I think it depends on who's on trial.
Because, and evidence. I mean, the thing is, there was no real evidence to convict Bill Cosby, and
except for public opinion. From the
the thing is, the reason why the judgment got thrown out was because they violated an agreement. I believe they violated his constitutional rights, the Fifth Amendment, the right against incrimination. So he testified at a previous civil trial, and they made a deal with him that said this will not be admissible. And then, that happened. And then when they tried to rush to convict him, they broke that promise and used what he said. They wrapped that with guilty. They didn't do it. Yeah, they wrapped that with a whole bunch of people like, me too, in the Me Too era. And it's like they rushed, like I said, man, I never saw, I've seen cases take months and, with elaborate, breaking down all the, Law and Order breaks it down better than that, man. I saw pieces of the trial. I'm like, man, what are they doing? So,
well, look, Tommy, not to cut you off, but this is the same thing that we saw in the Michael Jackson trial, where they said he did all these things to these little boys and they found him not guilty.
Yeah.
And then look, this is why this is interesting for me as well. Say for God forsaken this happens, but say Bill Cosby dies soon. It took Michael Jackson to die for people to witch hunt him again. I could only imagine if this goes the way I see it, would have come out like I'll Survive Bill Cosby, like R. Kelly the sequel or something. I could only see somebody taking it to the next level. You see how they're coming down on Felicia Rashad right now. Hollywood is up in an uproar because they're saying he did these things to unsuspecting women. But for every person who thinks about this articulately, if you go somewhere with somebody and they're either wooing you or coming on to you and they're trying to set a setting for sex, if you stay, it's kind of questionable. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he is or is not guilty, but if you look at the setup of the stories, and most of them the way they say it, most of the things I've read or heard in the trial was like they were in his room, they were in dressing rooms, they invited him somewhere, they came, they were drinking, they were talking, having fun. That's a kickback. So like this is, like I said, this is going to be the changing of how we do criminality and law, and even convicting accused members of society in a new way. And I'm very interested and wary of where we're going to go after this trial.
You just never know. Like I said, if he's out here drugging women that are unknowingly using drugs, it's, like that dude deserves to be under the jail. Like anybody who deserves to be under the jail who's out here, you know what I'm saying, drugging women because they stroke game weak. You know what I mean? Like it's like, but at the same time, it's like, there is this huge gray area where drugs in general become involved.
Yeah.
People knowingly take and knowingly know that it will alter the way that they perceive the world.
Yeah.
How they view the world, the decisions they make, and people knowingly take these drugs, and then it's like, then you get in situations where it's like you don't know if you actually came on to somebody, or you flirted with somebody, or you did this with somebody, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, what happened? You know what I mean? And there's video evidence nowadays that it could show you, falling or grabbing on somebody or doing whatever, but then a woman will say, I didn't want to do that. It's
well,
crazy.
you know what? Even besides the drug, let's keep it all the way 100.
No, I'm keeping.
There are industries.
Bro, I'm glad I'm married because I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The dating game.
Yeah, man. Like, shout out to everybody tuned in right now. Let's keep it 100. If you've been to college, if you've been to a bar is literally a place where you go to lower your inhibitions and to find somebody equally as inhibited, and hopefully you go home and something happens. College parties, let's go smoke. Let's come on, man. You know what I mean? We're not condoning anything, but what we're saying is there's a fine line between, all right, cool, we're having a good time, and here, have some pudding. You know what I mean? So what we're saying is this: if you're doing it the wrong way, never acceptable. But we need proof, evidence. If we're talking about convicting people, locking people up, and especially millionaires, famous people, because at the same time, there's a lot of, the Me Too movements like, this is going on. There's also the gold digger movement, which is, he got money, let's get him one way or the other.
I noticed a lot of, I know y'all know I can't stand feminists. Like them angry ass feminists, you know what I'm saying? I can't stand them. Yeah, so they try to use things against you to kind of, guilt you into being on their side. Let's say, you have a daughter. What if your daughter this? What if your daughter that? I trained my daughter. Me and my daughter's family, we train our daughter well enough that I would hope she wouldn't put herself in certain situations. And also, at the end of the day, you know, I don't have a son, I have a nephew. A lot of us do have sons. I wouldn't want my son being falsely accused of being a rapist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Any more than I want my daughter, you know, God forbid, to be, you know, to be sexually assaulted by me. You know, it is a reality. A lot of women are sexually assaulted, and my heart does go out to them. That shit is not easy for them. When I hear them talk about it, it's real pain. It is hurtful, but for the ones that's false accusing, you know, I have absolutely no. I personally believe there's a meme that came out and said, if a woman accuses a man of rape falsely and it's found out, that she should get the same exact penalty she was trying to put on him. I'm 100% for that.
I agree. There should be a penalty for that. Just like there should be a penalty for dudes that's out here, you know, because trust me, there's a lot of dudes out here who are the thirst is real, and they will, by any means necessary, do anything it takes to smash a chick. And for those dudes out there, I'm 100% yo, get them. Because, like I said, I mean, me personally, you know, the GoodFellaz, we don't have no problem getting chicks. But if you out here, if you having to go to getting your Breaking Bad on to get some ass, nah, yo, you need to sit down. Stop making us
I don't
look
even
bad.
know what Breaking Bad is, yo.
Yo, if you out here getting your Heisenberg on right now, just trying to smash, bruh, just sit down. Stop making us look bad. But I just want to say, let's not act like females is not out here doing the same thing. Whether it's Cardi B, who's out here admitting that she used to drug and get dudes robbed. You guys ever seen the movie Hustlers with Jennifer Lopez?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
You gotta watch it. First of all, it's a good movie, but the movie is based off of, it was like a period between when 50 Cent was popping, so the early 2000s to 2010. Like, it showed a bunch of strippers and females who their game was to you know, go on dates with Wall Street dudes, literally slip drugs in their drinks, get them so drunk that they spend all their money on their credit cards, and then bounce. Like, that's the premise of the movie. It's called Hustlers. Check that out. So just like I just want to say this, just like it's always wrong for anybody to do it. Dudes, like, yo, you playing yourself if you got to resort to that. But let's not act like dudes are the only one doing it. And that's my thing. Like, if we're gonna talk equality, then it has to be equal all the way. In the same way that dudes gotta chill out, y'all females out there, y'all gotta chill out.
The real question is everybody still watching the Cosby Show or not? Because, like, for real, like, Cosby Show never stopped the rotation.
Cosby Show, similar to Fresh Prince, similar to Martin. Those are classic TV shows, and at one point, Bill Cosby was America's dad. Don't start acting brand new now, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, if it's good television, it's good television. And shout out to Felicia Rashad, who's out there, you know, supporting, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for her, because she's riding with her friend, and then you got all these people coming at her as if she's against the entire Me Too movement kind of thing. And I'm like, that's why these movements, it's always weird, man. Like, these movements, people attach so much personal emotions to these movements sometimes. And it's like, even if the movement sways in a way that doesn't make sense for you to crucify somebody, it's like they just go with it. And I just feel like, should she come out and said, like, yo, I think this is, you know, maybe not, but, like, yo, that's her friend, and she's sticking up for her peoples. There's plenty of people out here who are always yelling to free this person, free that person, whether they're guilty or not. So I just think the hypocrisy should chill out. That's nobody wants that sexual assault. Just that stigma, yo, because, like, it's that and, like, child molester. Those are the two things that you can't just drop. You can't just drop them bombs on dudes and throw that around and be like, oh, and make a game out of it because like.
Oh my bad, I was wrong. Like nah.
Yeah, with just the allegation. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm chilling with somebody, I got kids, I'm chilling with my boy. Next thing I know, your boy gets arrested for like child porn. What? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Immediately, I'm looking at you from side eye from now on. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, set him up like, yo, like you just can't, it's just certain stigmas and certain labels you just can't throw around on dudes because them joints stick.
Yeah, yo. That's like somebody you know, and then somebody, whether it's true or not, they're like, yo, watch out for him, he got herpes. And then like, yo, bro, you trying to smoke? I'm like, I don't know. Like, nah, chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's messed up because you're playing with people's reputations out here, and it gets to the point where whether it's right or wrong, you look at them kind of funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, we're the GoodFellaz. We've given you a lot of points of view, a lot of perspective. This is bigger than Bill Cosby. You know what I mean? So, you know, we're just keeping all the way 100. This is the recap with the GoodFellaz show. We're going to come back. We got more to talk about. Shout out to everybody tuning in right now. We're going to see y'all in a minute. Peace.